And up next here we got Augusto Sakai taking on Dontel Mays. And man, I don't really got a lot to say about this fight. These are the type of fights like there's certain fights where some people you hear them say, oh, when there's a women's fight, I'll just leave, or if this guy's fighting, I'm just gonna go get a drink because they're so boring. But man, these are the type of fights where that's my thing with these fights. Like every fight, it seems like every card UFC has to put on one of these trash heavyweight fights where it's like, if they don't finish in the first round, it's going to be some low level bullshit. But yeah, they're throwing this fight on the main card here. Augusto Sakai taking on Dontel Mays. And Sakai is coming off 4 knockout losses in a row, but he has been facing some high level competition. Dontel Mays, he had 1-2 in a row, then he came up against Hamdi Abdelwanab, who is like a former Olympic wrestler who was on the juice. He failed, so he ended up losing that fight by a split decision, but it ended up turning into a no contest. So he has a chance to get 3 wins in a row here. And Mays is a guy that I think he's made a lot of improvements. I mean, you got to give him a lot of credit. If you look at his first performance on the Ultimate Contender Series, where he was on that Snoop cast, and Snoop Dogg would say he's not invited to the cookout and all that, to where he is when he is beating the shit out of Josh Parisian. And I think he's definitely upped his level pretty significantly. And with Sakai, you can almost say the opposite. Like, he's regressed since he had that run after the Overeem fight. But he's still 31, so he's young, and so is Mays. Both these guys are on the much younger side for heavyweight. And when you look at how these guys match up, I mean, Augusto Sakai, recently he's not pressured like he used to and try to play on the outside type of game. But I think that's because he was fighting the Tai Tuivasas of the world, the Sergey Spivaks, where one guy could knock you out with one punch. The other guy was trying to take him down the whole time. This fight, he has to go back to pressuring. Mays doesn't do good against pressure. He doesn't do good on the inside. He likes to be on the outside, throwing those straight shots, uppercuts, spins, being pretty, has pretty good kicks. Very athletic, tall guy. If he can keep it at distance, he's going to have the speed advantage and the reach advantage and probably be able to piece Sakai up. But I think this fight's going to be more played in the clinch on the inside. And Mays has gotten a lot better with his clinch game, with his takedown game. And Sakai's good with that clinch game as well. That's where he's at the best, I would feel like. And that's where I think he has the best chance to wear on Mays, with those clinch knees, pushing him against the cage, and just using that pressure. So Sakai's going to want to come with the pressure him to the cage type of hold him against the cage knee type of game plan, in my opinion. And Mays is going to want to be able to be the more dynamic on the outside, touch Sakai as he comes in, try to do damage, and then control the clinch himself. And ultimately, I mean, I don't really have a strong opinion on this fight. I think either guy could win, honestly. But I'm going to go with Dontel Mays just because he is a fighter with more momentum. I think he's a little bit more athletic. You got to think that the 4 knockout losses for Sakai, not only is it damage, but it's mental damage. And I don't know where he's at in his head. So I'm going to say Mays goes in there, and I'm going to say it's a decision win, a terrible fight, sloppy type of fight. But I'm going to go with Dontel Mays for the win.